King Power Stadium is the setting today as Leicester City still hunt their first victory of this new Premier League season. Travelling, Bournemouth are the visitors today, coming off the back of a good win in midweek against rivals Southampton, so it'll be a tough test for Steve Cooper and his side. We'll get to team news very shortly. Before we do, we need to welcome you along to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub with me, Dan Bates. We've got two Leicester legends sat next to me, Matt Elliott and Steve Howard. Welcome along to the both of you. Could do with a win today, it's fair to say, Steve. Firstly, I think it's the first time we've had you on this season as well, so
yeah,
welcome back.
So hopefully good luck, Charm.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, we could do with a win. You know, there's been little bits of Leicester. You've seen some great little play, but obviously just haven't followed through with a win, which hopefully will be today.
Would be nice heading into the international break, Matt, wouldn't it? If they can come and get the victory today.
Yeah, it's nice to have the set evenly balanced as well. For a change. Mind you, Walshy last week as well was pretty even. But yeah, listen, the first thing that people are saying to me coming to the stadium today and through the week, loads of people just say, need a result at the weekend, need a result today. Big game. And I mean, we could say that every week, of course, but the longer it takes to get that win, that first win, hopefully set the ball rolling a little bit, more the pressure builds up, doesn't it?
We've got plenty coming up on today's Matchday Live. We'll hear a lot more, of course, from Matt Elliott and Steve Howard. We've got Jerry Taggart on co-commentary duty. We'll hear from him as well as we build up to kick-off just under an hour away. We'll take a look back at what happened a week ago. Leicester so close, weren't they, to getting a brilliant point away at the Emirates. Speaking of fantastic goals, that James Justin one, that will feature in our Goal of the Month competition. And we'll hear from manager Steve Cooper. He's been previewing, of course, the game today with Bournemouth, who, Steve, obviously, as we know, they've had a bit of an indifferent start to the season. They'll be pleased with where they are. The new manager's second season now there, off the back of a good win as well. They'll be confident coming here. So it's by no means an easy game. If you like, no game's easy in the Premier League, is it? But Leicester, no, they'll be up against it today.
Absolutely. I mean, you know the style that Bournemouth are going to play. They're going to be passing. So it's going to be one, high line, high press. So hopefully Leicester can just exploit that and, maybe hit them on their counter attack with, obviously with a team with Vards in behind. But we'll wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we've seen so far, Leicester don't tend to dominate games. Certainly not from the off for whatever reason, whether that's intentional or down to the opposition. But they stay in the games, and they're going to have to do that at the very least today. I think in an ideal world, people are looking for a little bit more than just that, than staying in the game. At home, I was going to say long gone are the times where you expect to get a result against Bournemouth, but looking back at the statistics of it, Leicester have only beaten Bournemouth twice.
Yeah, in 10 games. Yeah.
Both here at home. It shows you what a difficult proposition they are. And if anything, they're probably at the top of their game. They have been over recent years. And which is testament to a lot of people at the club, but in particular probably the manager. And they're a difficult opposition to come up against, aren't they? And it's not going to be straightforward today, for sure. No.
Absolutely not. Right, let's take a look at today's team news then. We were looking, of course, at that Arsenal game. We will look at it in just a moment. Steve Cooper has decided to make one change from the side that faced Arsenal at the Emirates. Harry Winks drops to the bench. And in comes Jordan Ayew on that right-hand side. This is the 11 then in full. It's Hermansen, Christensen, Fass, Akoli and Justin, of course, scorer of both the goals a week ago. Skip and Ndidi will be the two holding in midfield, with Mavididi, Buenanotte and Jordan Ayew supporting Jamie Vardy, as predicted by Steve. On the bench for the Foxes, it's Danny Ward, Cody, Fatawu, Winks, El Khanous, Deco-Dover-Reid, Ricardo, Edouard and Bouba Samare. Bournemouth, fresh off the back of that 3-1 victory over Southampton on Monday evening. This is how they line up. They've got Kepa in goal, Kirkez, Sensei, Zabarani and Smith across the back four. Christie and Cook in midfield with Tavernier, Kluivert, Semenyo. He's been red hot form at the start of this season. They're all behind Evan Linson, who scored his first goal of the season in that win over Southampton. We're going to concentrate, obviously, Steve, on the Leicester team though for now. Jordan Ayew comes in, Winks drops to the bench. It's more of an attacking move, isn't it, from Steve Cooper? And we've seen Buonanotte now, he'll be in that number 10 role again. It's about him getting on the ball, I guess, today, is it?
I think so. Like I said before, they're going to be high press, so I don't know if Steve Cooper's looking at that, thinking they can exploit them in behind with Vards and more attacking. But they're just going to get, Leicester's got to get good possession, getting good areas and get it behind them. And I think that's the key to this game.
Yeah, and they've struggled to do that so far, haven't they, really? Steve mentioned good possession there. And, the manager's publicly stated that he's looking for more of that. And rightly so, really. You don't want to be just sort of battling and containing teams and sort of hanging in there a little bit. They've got to get more control of the game, particularly here at the King Power. And you look at that, and he's still sort of trying to. Perhaps he will ongoingly throughout the season, really, horses for courses maybe, but he's still trying to sort of ascertain his strongest outfit. I think there might be slight changes at home and away throughout the season, but I mean, Canoes, he's coming for a sizable fee. He's yet to sort of make an impact yet. Could he be put in alongside midfield at some stage, as well as Buonanotte, or is it one or the other? But there are a few things that people look at in that lineup and think maybe certain individuals should be starting ahead of others. But that's how Steve Cooper sees it, and he hasn't been too far off the mark as of yet. So wait and see how things turn out today.
Yeah, I think you just don't get carried away. On the lift on the way up here, me and Matt, the guy says, "Oh, I think we'll win 3 or 4-0 today." And me and Mark went, "Well, you'll take a 1-0, a good result."
Don't tell him what I said.
So I thought, well, you just take a good result and a good performance and a good result. So I think that's what Steve Cooper was thinking, with his choice of selection.
Yeah, we saw a lot of. I think it was the Villa game, that wasn't it, the second home game where we played Winks, Ndidi and Skip in midfield, and the fans were calling out for a number 10. He started one against Everton. He starts one again today in Buonanotte.
Yeah, it's easy to sort of make those assessments and have that opinion. But I mean, again, I must have been doing my homework this week, Batesy.
It's about time.
I know, yeah, better late than never. But Wilfred Ndidi is the second top assister, for want of a better word, in the Premier League.
Well,
so which is quite surprising, but fair play and credit to him for that. So, Steve Cooper could turn around, not that he has to defend every decision, but he could say, well, listen, have a look at that. The reasons are, the reasons that certain players are playing at certain times.
Yeah.
But, yeah, generally, it gives a different balance today, and it's Winks' turn to miss out, if you like. I think his performances have been okay. You couldn't imagine Winks being dropped this time a year ago, could you?
No.
Or rested, even, however you want to put it. But I suppose, listen, you can look at that and say, right, okay, that's quite a strong bench there for a team that are supposedly struggling, certainly short of points. But then you do wonder that there's questions. There's questions that supporters will be asking about the lineup, but that's always the case. It's always the case. Steve Cooper sees the boys through the week, and he'll have his reasons.
Yeah, and like you said, he's on the bench, so he knows come on. It's one of them. So we'll see how the game goes, and then I'm sure Steve will, set his selection out and think that's good enough to win the game. If not, then he brings Winks on. Which
is definitely a bigger part of managers' thinking these days, don't you?
Totally.
The bench coming on. I don't quite know. It makes sense. It makes sense, really. But there was a lot less emphasis on substitutes back in our day.
Well, what was it the term they used for Southgate's England in the Euros? They said they weren't substitutes; they were finishers, weren't they?
Yeah. To make an impact. Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, a bit similar to how rugby's transformed as well. I suppose back in our day the squads were thinner, and they made changes through necessity more than sort of desire to do it. But these days some of your better players are on the bench at times, not regularly from the off, but purposely for that reason, to come and make an impact later on. And you can make a case for that to a degree. The Leicester squad today.
But I think you're right. I think there's certain managers now look at the bench and think, that team's quite capable of, you know, doing all right for the first half, second half, and then we'll bring him on and win the game.
Yeah,
so that's the sort of mentality.
Yeah, I think it's in their thinking, definitely. Whereas, you know, it used to be just best players from the start for as long as possible.
Until they got knackered.
Yeah, exactly. Basically.
Let's take a look back then. A week ago, of course, it was an away game down at the Emirates. And for the second London away day in a row, the Foxes were so close to picking something up before conceding late on.
Was there to clear, and Vardy's left one-on-one here with Saliba, and he's caused a nuisance, Vardy, and he's won the ball, and he was fouled there, wasn't he, Tony Cotton? No free kick given.
Yeah, he looked like he was fouled, but a good play from Jamie Vardy. I mentioned about holding it up. He very nearly done it and nearly won a foul there.
Here is Timber. Vardy's very unhappy. Meanwhile, Martinelli has fired it into the back of the net. Now Leicester immediately run to the referee and say this should be disallowed for the foul on Vardy at the start of the phase of play. Arsenal attacked down the right-hand side, and Martinelli from around the penalty spot was able to score. Calafiori still down. Now it's with Martinelli. He leaves it. Oh, Trossard scored on half-time. Arsenal double their lead, and now it is a long way back for Leicester. It's going to be swung in by Buonanotte. Flick by Justin is in! Game on! James Justin had a big chance at the start of the first half. At the beginning of the second, he has reduced the deficit. Fine header from Justin. That has shocked the Emirates. They're getting on the ball. And Ndidi crosses in. It's Justin on the volley. Oh, he scored! Off the post! James Justin sends the Leicester supporters wild. Who saw this coming? From 2 down, Leicester have equalised, and James Justin has scored one of the goals of the season so far. On the volley, unstoppable from their right-hand side. In swinger, in it goes towards the far post. It's Trossard, it's gone in, and Arsenal's pressure has paid off in the 4th minute of added-on time. It is late heartbreak away from home again for Leicester City. The other end, Jesus here runs into the box, he can finish it. Jesus, poor effort, comes back to Havertz, who does tuck it home.
This is a goal, this is going to be 4-2, unfortunately.
Well, indeed it was 4-2, as we heard there from Tony Cottee. Very easily could have been a lot better. Matt Elliott, you were with us in the studio, weren't you, a week ago for that one? And it just seemed like Leicester were just going to hold on and get a thoroughly brilliant point, actually. And probably on second half merit would have deserved it, thanks to Mads Hermansen. We'll talk about him and his saves in just a moment. But yeah, they were so close, weren't they? And it was heartbreaking in the end. They
were, but it depends from what side of the fence you look at the game, really. I mean, you just mentioned Mads Hermansen there. The amount of saves he made, it was spectacular. He was unbelievable. It was a wonderful performance from him, but it needed to be, and there was a massive amount of shots raining down towards his goal and on his goal. Having said that, yeah, Leicester in that second half period, obviously with the 2 goals, but the game itself, they were right back in it, and they seemed to have sort of nullified Arsenal to a degree. But those set pieces, you could see the pressure mounting on the 2 or 3 occasions very late in the game prior to the, well, it was basically, was it an Ndidi own goal in the end? It officially went down as that, unfortunately. Until that actually occurred, you know, you thought, oh, they're going to hang on, but the amount of minutes added on, it just all added up against Leicester's chances, and hugely disappointing, frustrating, but some would say a valiant performance, which there's a case to be made for that.
Yeah, they were so close yet so far. The Palace game as well, a couple of weeks before that away, they were 2-1 up, weren't they, heading into stoppage time? That ended up 2-2. So they'll be frustrated with both of those, not being able to hold on at the end. But to get into position that they did against Arsenal, they did well to make it 2-2 and to keep it as tight as they did for as long as they did.
I mean, to go to the Emirates and score 2 goals, you know, and be in there for the last 10 minutes, was it?
Yeah, well, extra time.
Extra time, yeah. To do that, and then, but I just thought, you know, watching the game, obviously I watched the highlights, obviously Matt's obviously watched the game, but I just thought the 2 goals were a bit sloppy, you know, a bit sloppy defending, but And you can't do that when you go to the Emirates, especially in this league. You can't go there anywhere in this
Too easy,
league,
wasn't
can
it?
you?
Too easy, yeah.
To be honest, especially in this league. But you're going to get punished, and obviously to hang in there, and obviously James Justin with a beauty to make it 2-2. But it was just, you just think, yeah, just hang on to that, and obviously it just fell foul at the last minute. But that's basically been a bit of Leicester's story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was like that last season as well. But hopefully that's just, you know, like finding the feet.
What afternoon James Justin had, by the way. Had a difficult time, in truth, in the first half. You know, understandably so. You got Martinelli flying at you, amongst others. I thought he got sort of caught out of position a couple of times. Maybe went a little bit early because he's trying to make advances, and Leicester weren't in secure possession. It comes back, scores the 2 goals.
I mean, what a goal this is!
Beauty, absolute beauty.
The second, that goal is.
I mean, that's one of the
exquisite, isn't it?
That's one of them where you hit it and you don't really feel it.
Yeah.
You know, you just, as soon as you hit it, you just think, yeah, that's flying in.
Yeah, the way he's cut across. I think Tony Cotty mentioned it at the time. You know, a lot of players might have tried to sort of volley it straight on, and it dips and loops in the far corner. But that's like he's sliced it, hasn't he? He's done it intentionally as well, and especially on the back of. He had a good opportunity in the first half. It wasn't a volley, but he was a bit hesitant early on, and to make amends like he did was something spectacular. But then he gets involved in. Okay, admittedly, it was the 4th goal. But, you know, he comes flying across, best of intentions, good, you know, nice and sort of aggressive defending, and just his luck. Ricochets off Havertz into the back of the net. So mixed fortunes for James Justin, but he's got a chance to go again this afternoon.
He's got quite the goal catalogue, hasn't he?
He has,
Justin. We actually spoke to him at Seagrave in the week. I had
Stoke away,
doing some
wasn't
film. Stoke away, Cardiff away last season. That one there, we said, which is your best. He says you can't beat scoring at the Emirates. So a goal like that, and we're going to see a goal of the month a little bit later. But you could see that being in the Premier League goal of the season. Nominations.
I mean,
really.
it's just you know, we're sitting there watching that goal, and we know exactly how hard that is. It's all about technique, and like I said, when you catch it, you don't
get
feel
one like
it.
that.
In
training, maybe.
Maybe in training.
We all got one.
Give us a training. Give us a training. But no. I mean, you know, he scores some fantastic goals. He's got a great strike on him. So
yeah, absolutely. And again, is there anything, Matt, that can be said about the fact that in those last 2 away games, it has been late either levellers against Leicester or late winners against them? Defensively, they were so good against Arsenal. And we can obviously highlight Mads Hermansen for those incredible saves that he made. They just couldn't quite get over the line.
Yeah, but he's part of the defence, isn't he? So, you know, keepers are there to make stops like he did. But he took it to extreme, to be honest. It was an amazing performance from him. But yeah, no, Leicester. I think what I take from the first 6 games as a whole really is I'm encouraged by the spirit and the attitude that Leicester have got. They've not once gone under when, I wouldn't say it'd be easier to have done so, but a lot of teams might have in certain situations. They've turned things around within games. They've showed a lot of sort of grit and determination and resilience, really. And I think that sort of probably emanates from the manager's words. You know, he keeps instilling that into them that it's going to be a fight this season. It's going to be tough. We've got to be prepared for that. And I think the players have done well in that respect. They know that there's plenty to build on, or plenty of room for development, shall we say, but an improvement. But the fact that they, literally every game has been eventually nip and tuck, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Leicester have probably looked the Leicester side in the majority of first halves, but in the overall game, Arsenal was side. Personally, Arsenal had the hat full of shots, he said. But generally, overall, you think that could have gone either way, or it could have been a draw, which sometimes it has.
Well, other than the Arsenal game, every defeat that's come has been by the odd goal. Yeah. And the Arsenal, I mean, 95 minutes into the game, it was 2-2. So it's
you go to the Emirates, and it's 2-2, and you're going to get this. I'm pretty sure Steve Cooper would have said to the goalkeeper, you're going to have a busy day today. And the defence, you're going to have a busy day today. Of course they are. But then, you go there, it's 2-2, and you just think, you've got to take a massive amount of confidence from that. Yeah. Even though it was 4-2 in the end.
Right, let's take a look back at some of the best goals scored in September then. 8 Premier League goals have been scored so far in Leicester's 6 Premier League games, including that fantastic James Justin strike at the Emirates a week ago. Here's a pick of the bunch from September.
Palace win the ball again, and then Ndidi steps in superbly and clips the ball over the top for Vardy. Can Vardy get them for the goalkeeper? He's round the goalkeeper and he's scored! It is vintage Jamie Vardy! He's at it again! Evergreen, ever brilliant. Leicester lead in the sunshine. Made by Ndidi, finished wonderfully by Jamie Vardy after 21 minutes. Nearly led to a goal. This one delivered straight in, and Ndidi's header. There's a real scramble in the box, and it's touchdown. I think it was Steffi Ndidi that got the final touch, the crucial touch that gives Leicester City an equaliser. They came close on the previous one. They strike from this one. Wings corner, and Ndidi rising. Bedlam inside the 6-yard area, and Ndidi leading to King Power Stadium celebration.
Now Momiki with a little bit of space for Yuka Momiki. Fires it early, looking for Yuta Rantala. It's going to get to Rantala. Rantala! Brilliant goal! What a reaction! On the stroke of half time, they found themselves a goal down. Start of the second half, it's all been one-way traffic.
Briggs with a firm tackle. Ewing skips past one, takes a knock on the way through. Oh, and it's buried by Josh King with his left foot. Well, Briggs threw himself into a challenge. Ewing took a bit of a clip, but as it dropped to Josh King, he made the most. And the young centre forward has levelled the game up for Leicester. Tracked by 2. The bailout is over the top, and King will pinch this, and he's done superbly. It's Josh King for his second, and he's found it. Well, that was class from King. Well, it was a real bailout ball over the top. There was no real other option for Leicester City defensively. And my word, did Josh King make the most of this.
Goes long to Evans. It's a good ball as well, and an excellent first touch from Jake Evans. Can he apply the finish? He certainly can. Beautifully taken by Jake Evans. He scored his first goal for the under-21s 3 weeks ago on his first start, and he's notched Leicester's second tonight. It was an exquisite first touch. Touch inside to Golding, breaks for penalty. Looking for Evans, who might get there, and he will. Tight angle, he scores again! What a finish that was from Jake Evans. From the tightest of angles. Sticks it away brilliantly. And after a scintillatingly brilliant move down the left-hand side from the young Foxes as well.
Now with Christensen and all of Leicester's ball-playing players, and there are lots of them out there. You think of Winks and Skip are getting on the board, and Ndidi crosses in. It's Justin on the volley. Oh, he scored off the post. James Justin sends the Leicester supporters wild. Who saw this coming? From 2 down, Leicester have equalised, and James Justin has scored one of the goals of the season so far. On the volley, unstoppable.
Well, they are the Goal of the Month nominations, and it's a pretty easy pick, I think, isn't it? You can have your say, of course, on the website, but both of you, it's quite easy, isn't it? Where the winners going this month?
For me, it is, yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Just
sorry to
pure
be
technique.
predictable, but there's only one avenue there, isn't there? Really.
I think so.
We've said plenty about it.
We can watch it one more time.
Yeah, yeah,
It's that
worth
good.
watching.
And again, it's just a shame it wasn't the equalising goal in a 2-2 draw. It's
Just going to
kind
say
of deserved
exactly
to be that, didn't it?
Exactly that. Like, it's just a shame that James Justin saying that's his pick of his bunch from his own point of view, and beautiful, isn't it?
Absolute beauty.
Yeah, but just shame that it wasn't in a positive result. But like Steve says, a positive performance going forward into this game today. You know, if it'd been 4-0 trouncing, then you sort of come stooping into this afternoon, don't you? But on the back of that, they can stride into this game and hopefully show some confidence. And
I mean, like I keep saying, it's the Emirates. I mean, they're favourites, if one of the favourites, if not the favourite, for the Prem. So you've got to take massive confidence in that.
What does it take as a player, that technique to score a goal like that? Is it?
Well, he's got a great strike on him anyway. He strikes a great ball. So he's obviously just timed it perfectly. Like I said, you don't even feel that. You just hit it and it flies off your boot. And
it's the proper outside of your boot that he's that he
well,
gets.
Like Matt says, he's meant to do it. He's meant to bend it. And obviously it's hit the post and gone in. I mean, he's done ever so well to keep it down.
Yeah, it's got to be absolutely perfect. Yeah, basically. And you're talking literally millimetres, aren't you? You get that slightly wrong.
Because 9 times out of 10, when I hit that, it was
it's up and over, or you get on top of it and it bubbles its way. But the angle he was at, you can tell that he's actually tried to slice it, and it wasn't by luck or fortune.
No,
that was all intended, and brilliant finish. Probably it looks spectacular on the eye, and as Tony Cotley mentioned, it hits the post and makes it look even more attractive. But the more you look at it, the more exquisite it gets, really. But as we say, all in vain. But a good moment. A good moment.
For those of you just joining us, James Justin retains this place, of course, at right back for the team to face Bournemouth this afternoon. We're just over half an hour now away from kick-off. Just the one change from the side that travelled to the Emirates. Jordan Ayew returns. He plays right wing, obviously this time in place of Harry Winks, who drops to the bench. There's the team for you there. So Buonanotte, we think, in that number 10 position, in behind Jamie Vardy. Steffi Mavididi yet again keeps his place on that left-hand side. He had a couple of great games, didn't he? So he is in on that left-hand side. Right, speaking of fantastic goals and great strikes, bet Jerry Taggart scored a few of those, did he?
Did he?
Certainly.
I remember one that actually he might have gotten a goal in the month competition if Mavridis did against Everton, but one that came off his brow area, rolled down his nose and bubbled off his chin, came off one of his bellies, and then hit his knee and went in at the far post. I remember one of them. You haven't got that one on record.
We haven't got that one on record. We've got Jerry Taggart. He's on co-commentary duty.
Oh, sorry,
Tags. I'm hoping, Jerry, that you were able to hear most of that. Matt Elliott just saying that you've scored many goals like James Justin's at the Emirates last week in your career, Jerry.
Yeah, well, if you ever played that rerun of my winner at Tottenham, White Hart Lane, and you see my left-footed thunderbuster, but no, that was quite special, wasn't it, from James Justin? Quite special.
Today, then, obviously, Bournemouth coming to King Power Stadium. Big game, Jerry, isn't it? We've already been previewing it. A lot of people coming here saying Leicester need a result today. If they can get that win, it'll just galvanise everywhere, won't it?
Yeah, I think, I've been listening to the lads talking, and you're talking about first half of games and then improving in the second half, running out the stronger side in a lot of the games, and then obviously losing the game late on last week was a massive blow, but lots of positives to take out of that, especially again in that second half. So I think it's all about, and Bournemouth are no mugs coming here today. They're on 8 points. They've scored the same amount of goals as Leicester. So they're no mugs, and they've got a couple of wins under their belt and a couple of draws. But Leicester have to try to be in the game for longer periods, and not wait until things are going wrong and then switch it at half time, come out the second half. I think they've got to be in the game for a lot longer, and if they can do that, then they give themselves a real chance. And coupled with that, Dan, you know, somewhere along the line they've got to try and find a clean sheet. You know, if we're saying if Leicester are going to win a game, they've got to score. They've got to score at least 2 goals in a game to win. So somewhere along the line, and why can't it be today? They'll have to try and find a clean sheet from somewhere against a pretty potent Bournemouth front line, it has to be said. You know, with Semenya scoring 3 and 6, so he's in good form, and he's probably their main man that has to be watched.
Jerry, Matthew.
Matthew, how are you?
All right, son. Same as I was about half an hour ago when I last spoke to you.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
I've just been raining compliments on your goal-scoring prowess before. Not sure you quite heard it, but
no, I didn't.
No, probably a good job. We'll leave it there. But no, you speak about Leicester, you know, trying or wanting to or needing to have more control in games, which is what we've been discussing partly. I mean, they might have to just hang in there and contain, because, as you say, Bournemouth are a good side.
Yes.
But obviously the intentions need to be more positive. Where do you see that coming from, the lineup? And do you think James Justin could be a big factor in that? Because some people might be looking at Fatawu not being in the starting lineup, but Steve Cooper going for Ayew. But Ayew can come inside and Justin bomb forward, particularly at home, maybe.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's obviously a feature, and we sort of seen a bit of that in pre-season, didn't we? Yeah. Well, the setup of, instead of the fullback coming inside, it's that outside forward, that right side of forward, or whatever you want to call it, coming inside and leaving the space for the fullback to get forward into those forward positions. And we've seen that to good effect last week at Arsenal. You know, I think it was in the first half, James Justin had a similar chance to the actual goal he scored, so that will be a ploy for Steve Cooper. But on the flip side of that, you know, Bournemouth will be more than aware of what James Justin's capable of doing after, you know, seeing what he achieved last week, so they will be keeping one eye on him. For me, you know, will that switch around in midfield with Harry Winks being dropped today? I think Steve Cooper's hoping that will give him a little bit more control, or a little bit more punch in the middle of the pitch, especially without the ball, Matt, because I think I don't want to be too critical. You know, I'm not trying to be too critical, but if it is a weakness of Harry Winks, then it is defensively, and I think possibly that's one of the reasons why he might be on the bench today. You know, he's a fantastic footballer, and when he's in possession of the ball, he's trying to get the team on the front foot and moving in the right direction. But I just think defensively, you know, there's been a couple of question marks over how he's done.
And also, Jerry, on top of that, the 2 midfielders, Skip and Ndidi.
Yeah.
You know, initially, you think of them as, you know, the sort of solid, holding, workman-like midfielders, but they both like to venture forward as well. You know, Wilfred we've seen play a different role, and Skip gets forward more than people give him credit for as well.
Absolutely, and I think you'll see that. I think there'll be he might revert to the old-fashioned, you know, 2-man midfield where he says one goes, one sits.
Yeah.
And you might see that today, and because like you say, both of them are more than capable of making those, you know, late runs into the box or underlapping runs to get up in support of the wide players or even the centre forward. So, you know, that might be a ploy from Steve Cooper, but I think, you know, when you analyse the goals that Leicester has conceded, I think for me that's where the main issue lies, is conceding soft goals, unavoidable goals, avoidable goals being conceded where they could possibly do a little bit better. And I think, you know, having especially Ndidi in the middle of the picture and not in a more advanced role will hopefully, you know, help Leicester on their way.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jerry. We'll hear from you, of course, just before kick-off. You're on co-commentary duty alongside Niall McCorn. That is, as we said, 25 minutes away now until kick-off. Obviously, Steve, we know the lads will be out there. They're warming up and getting going again. Hopefully, the atmosphere. We could hear the PA a little bit, couldn't we, behind Jerry there. If the fans come, the supporters come today and bring positivity, that can hopefully come onto the pitch as well, because we've yet to see them really take the lead in a game here at home yet. They've always seemed to have been chasing them, so it'd be nice if Leicester can get a lead today and really get the crowd behind them.
Yeah, I think Jerry made a good point. You know, a clean sheet. You know, especially being at home, you get a clean sheet, and then obviously with the firepower that Leicester's got, hopefully, you know, you can score a few goals and get the crowd in and amongst the game. And you know, it's always, I mean, it's a great place to play football when the crowd's behind you, you know, and it does give the team a lift. So I think if they can exploit in behind Bournemouth, which hopefully they will, the crowd will be, you know, right behind them, and it'll push them on. But like Jerry says, a clean sheet's massive at home.
Yeah. Speaking of firepower going forward, let's hear now from a couple of those that could supply the ammunition for the Foxes today. One of them starts on the right-hand side. One of them is on the bench today. They're both Ghanaian. They both sat down in the week to preview this game with Bournemouth and started by assessing that defeat to Arsenal and what they've learned from the trip to the Emirates.
Yeah, I think this game gave us more confidence, and I think after the game it gave us more belief that we can win every game. So I think it was a good test for us, and yeah.
There's going to be so many difficult games this season, Jordan. Next up it's Bournemouth. How important is it to make sure you get results at home this season?
Listen, to be fair, I think this is our time to pick up some points, because looking at the fixtures, these are the games where we have to pick up points, especially at home. And obviously we're trying to make our home ground a fortress. So, you know, it's not been really easy for the fans and for we the players, because like we're not far from a win, you know, and we've been doing well, we've been performing well, but the problem is that maybe we've not been performing well enough for 90 minutes. So we just need to make sure that we perform for 90 minutes and we'll be fine. And I'm not worried about anything, but obviously this weekend is a massive game for us, we know, and we'll be ready for it.
That was Jordan Ayew there and Abdul Fatawu looking ahead to this game with Bournemouth today. One, as I said, one on the bench, one starting today. You can see the merits of Jordan Ayew starting, can't you? It'd be nice to see maybe a few more minutes from the bench for Abdul, from obviously what we saw last season.
Well, he's a crowd favourite, isn't he? You know, because of how he plays and how he goes about his game as well. You know, big sort of beam in face, sorry, and he's quite sort of charismatic, isn't he? It must be frustrating for him. Although, in fairness, when he has had opportunity, he hasn't shown that much. In truth, and Jordan Ayew has mildly surprised me really with the quality that he's shown. You know, coming in, you know, he's sort of a seasoned campaigner. But you can see his attributes. You know, he gets hold of the ball. Yes, he buys fouls, or he draws fouls, shall we say. But he brings a bit of experience and know-how. So there's a good blend between the two of them. It's sort of certain times and places, I suppose, but Steve Cooper at the moment going for, but partly because of that reason that I mentioned there to Jerry, because he can get his width and his pace from James Justin getting forward, or whoever else the right back is. But they both mentioned there, didn't they, sort of a bit of a recurring theme about, you know, frustration. They're in games, we're not far off, but at the same time they realise the importance of getting a result very soon, stroke today, if possible, because it's only so long you can keep saying, we're nearly there, we're hanging in games, you know, it's close, we only lost by the odd goal, etc. You can't be doing that for too much longer.
Yeah, because you don't want to sow that seed. You need to get the first win under your belt.
Yeah,
you know, for your
Make
dressing
a
room.
big difference, even sort of subconsciously, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you all talk about it and think, you know, if we just get the first win, when we get the first win, we'll be all right. You know, so it's imperative to get it.
Yeah, you get that win, and then all of a sudden you know, there's the evidence. You know you can win a game in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you that bit of belief, doesn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of winning games in the Premier League, today's visitors Bournemouth, as Matt has rightly mentioned, have a great record against Leicester in this competition. Last time they did play, though, the Foxes came out on top, of course, in the FA Cup at the start of this calendar year. A fantastic Abdul Fatawu strike was enough to pick up the win in the FA Cup that evening. They have won 2 games at the start of this Premier League season, including beating Southampton on Monday 3-1. And Steve Cooper, during his pre-match press conference, was asked following that win, what makes Bournemouth tick?
Yeah, good, dangerous players, top end of the pitch and a clear way of playing. Obviously, they've had spells since the manager's been there in his second year now, but they've had some good spells where they've picked up some good runs of results, and that's through the back of how they play, which is really clear. So we're very aware of that, and but also very aware of the impact that we can have in the game. And I always say that most weeks, but I really believe in, for us to win a game, we need to make sure that it's our impact that has the biggest influence on that. So yeah, we're ready for a very sort of energetic Bournemouth team, which is what they are, and clear in how they play, and dangerous, very dangerous with it. We're very aware and ready for that, but we're also, going to make sure we're well prepared ourselves as well.
How important is it then to go into the international break?
Yeah.
Not just a positive performance, but a positive result.
No, we need a result for sure. We want a result. That's where a lot of course, your narratives are written, and that's what we want. We're in it. We are in a world where results dictate so many things. Of course, behind that, we have to look at the preparation, the performance, the reviews, and all that. That's our job. But in the end, all of that is to try and get a team performing well enough to win games. So absolutely, we're really, really committed and really, really want to get the right result going into the international break. Not just because it's international break, it's because we want anyway. So yeah, really want to attack the game on Saturday. Desperate for our supporters to see their team win and play well in the process. And we've really got to take responsibility now for making that happen.
You say you want to attack the games. Goal scoring has been pretty consistent so far this season. Is it the other end where it needs to... Well,
clearly, yeah. I mean, it's always the most important things, isn't it? Is keeping the ball out of your net and putting it in the opponent. So and like I said, I think we've been good for a goal or two in a game, and creating big chances, and we've got to keep that going, and even strive to improve on that, and be stronger at the other end of the pitch to not get low in the games, not be in a low block as quick as what we have sometimes found ourselves, and then when we are not let the opponents turn them into chances. So yeah, that's the constant cycle of game preparation and improvement, and we're no different to anybody else. And like I said, that's a big part of us going forward.
That was Steve Cooper there, looking ahead to this game with Bournemouth. Steve, clearly it's the other end of the pitch, as Steve has been saying there, that is the issue. At the moment, they've scored in every game they've had so far. They've also conceded in every game that they've played. So is it just tightening up at the back and the rest will come? Is that what the move should be, if you like?
I think so. I'll come back to my point where, a clean sheet. I think a clean sheet gives everybody confidence. Gives the whole midfield, the whole team really up to the forwards to say, if we score a goal, we only need 1 or 2 goals because we keep a clean sheet at the back and win the game. But I think it's, especially going into the national break as well, I think it's a good performance from Leicester here, a good win, takes them into the national break, and then obviously the confidence will be flying high.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, in truth. Leicester, it's nice to sort of be able to state that they've scored in every game, but they haven't created a hatful of chances, really. We've talked about sort of having more control in games, but also tightening up at the back. So it depends where you stand, really, doesn't it? Some people have been critical of the start, and they're looking at it thinking, well, there's no win in 6, and we're conceding and we haven't got enough control. But then other people, which is the way I look at it, really, is that from a balanced point of view, and the manager looks at it like that, as he talks sense before and after every game. and the players will take that on board. But you know, in terms of like they have competed certainly, and given themselves chances in games, and I think that they've got to be confident, and I'm sure they're right that they're only going to get better as the season goes on. I don't think they're going to get worse. They don't give me the signs that they're a team that are ready sort of to capitulate. Quite the opposite. It's like they're bonding and coming together.
Yeah, one change for Steve Cooper. Sorry, Steve, just a moment. One change. We'll quickly do a recap of today's team news as we are now a quarter of an hour away from kickoff here at King Power Stadium. Just the one change for Steve Cooper from that side that lost at the Emirates a week ago. It's an attacking one as out goes Winks, in comes Ayew. It's Hermansen in goal, Christensen, Fass, Akoli and Justin across the back four, Skip and Ndidi in midfield, Mavididi, Buonanotte and Ayew supporting Jamie Vardy. From a Bournemouth point of view, fresh off the back of a 3-1 victory over Southampton. Evanlinson was on the score sheet there, as was Semenyo. They've got Kepa in goal, Kirkez, Sensei, Zabarani and Smith, Christie and Cook in the midfield, with Tavernier and Clivert supporting those two that I just mentioned there, Semenyo and Evanlinson as well. Sorry, Steve, what were you?
I was just going to pick up on the point. I don't know whether Matt mentioned it or Jay, but when Matt was talking about there about, doesn't see signs. I think you mentioned that the team spirit's still there.
Yeah, it seems to be,
doesn't it? Good team spirit, and that's half the battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we know, you've been in changing rooms and you had a good team spirit. You're going to help your mate out, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Final point then, I guess, for today and is on that really, as you're rightly saying, the team spirit's got to be there, and the morale, the togetherness seems there in this group.
It was there last season. I mean, the matches I watched, you had a team spirit there, and I think that's when it gets a bit tough. That's what you rely on. You call on your mate, to help you out, and that's your team spirit. And I think if you take that into these games, especially in the hardest league in the world, and the best league in the world, I think you'd be all right if you have a good team spirit.
Yeah, as well as that team spirit, there's got to be a bond from the supporters as well.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I think that'll come though, doesn't it? It comes when you see that on the pitch, that the fans will buy into that. So it's
well, I think they have done, certainly up to now, especially Tottenham in particular. I can remember. I know that was like the first game of the season, but just by one or two grumblings, whatever, you're always going to get that. But generally, I think the supporters understand the situation and the size of the task there, and they know it's got to be all hands to the pump throughout the course of the season, not just ebbing and flowing when Leicester are in form or not. They've got to stick together throughout, and they play a huge part today.
Yeah, let's hope they do today. Let's hope Leicester can, of course, get the first 3 points of the season. Our commentary team today is Niall McCorn alongside Jerry Taggart. We are just under 10 minutes away now from kick-off. Will we see the first win of the season? Let's hope so. We've got full commentary coming up next.